Good morning, guys, and this week sees another episode of the Emergency Storage Shed Cleanout series. Yes, I have enough room in here now to do my introductions here. So, episode 66, yep, we're forging through it. We're going to continue on this bench here with all this, this shelf unit with all this vintage electronic stuff on it. I need to sort it all out. We're starting down the bottom, and we had a box of power tools last week. There's a toolbox down here that I have no idea what's in it. I've resisted the urge to peek. Let's have a look now and take it through to the bench, and whatever it is, we're going to process it. Also next to that toolbox is what looks like another power tool. GMC's a cheaper brand. I don't know if that box actually contains a tool. I would imagine it does. It might be another drill, something like that. We'll deal with that one as well. But this toolbox, I have no idea what's in it. I don't even know how heavy it is. It's too heavy for that arm because that shoulder's a bit dodgy still. Let's try my right arm where my shoulder has been fixed. Oh yeah, there's another box on top of that. Looks like a socket set. We'll let that gracefully settle. Yeah, that's pretty good. Alright, let's have a peek in here now. It's not super heavy, so it's not going to be chock full of spanners or anything. But I'm imagining it's going to have some tools. Oh, hinges are a bit tight. Oh, we have got spanners. Okay. Alright, I remember what I put these in here for. So this will be easy to process. Oh, there's a little spider. Looks like a redback of some sort without the redback. Same family. So we'll deal with that shortly. I'll talk about that when I get in on the bench. This one sounded like it was empty, so that might be actually handy to use for something in my shed. Let's have a look in this one while we're out here. And definitely has got something in it. And it's longer than a drill. Maybe a reciprocating saw. What else could it be? It's a GMC. It's the right tool. It is a reciprocating saw. I didn't know I owned one. Well, it's only a cheaper brand. I actually do have a good Makita one that I've never unboxed. So that's certainly going to be one I'll sell. So we'll just test that and tag it. And if it works fine, give it a little clean up. And that'll be a one just to take straight to the shop to sell. It might just be $20 or something. Looks like it was at a garage sale. What does that say? 60? Yeah, I think it's 60. Someone is trying to sell it for $60. Well, I would assume then that it does work. So I'll test it. I'll probably just put $20 on it. We'll move it on. I don't need to film that. Exactly the same process as how I did the drills last week. So we're going to make a bit of space this week. What do we got here? A whole box full of power packs. Wall warts, transformers, chargers, whatever you call them. We'll take that through to the bench as well. So we're going to make good progress in space this time. Shouldn't take too long to go through it. Okay, let's get all this on the bench first, and then we'll quickly process it. I'm glad this toolbox isn't just full of random tools, even though they're fun to go through and we usually do pretty well with the value. I'm more actually keen to create a lot of space quickly out there because I need the space. So everything's closing in on me. So we'll deal with that pretty quickly. I also could use the crates. So if we empty this, excellent, another crate. Okay, let's deal with this stuff. We'll start with this on top here. It was a Kingcraft, I think it was a socket set. It's missing the insert. It's just a handy steel box. I don't have an immediate use for it. So rather than just, I don't know, it might be handy one day, I hear you say. Or maybe that's my inner voice. No, I'm just going to wipe it down. I'm going to put it in the shop for just $5. Let's move it on. I don't need to keep things just for the sake of keeping them. No doubt it would find a use one day, but I can't fill up my shed with one-day things. $5 in the shop. Okay, the GMC reciprocating saw. GMC is Global Machinery Company. It was one of the first big Chinese tool companies, and they weren't the best quality. But they were fine for the average handyman that might only use it a few times. 650 watt. It had 2-year replacement warranty. I guess you can't go too wrong there. So I don't think we need to keep that. We'll probably keep the book with it. We'll peel off this $60 price tag. And I wouldn't have paid that at a garage sale by any means. It's a chance that I got this in a shed clean out and it didn't sell at a particular garage sale. So it looks in okay condition. It has been used a bit. It's quite heavy actually. And scrap value would only be an electric motor, really much the same as a drill and the cord. But we'll plug that in, put it on the appliance tester and just make sure it's safe. I might as well do that for you guys because we'll get through this pretty quickly. Not sure what those little fittings are for. Oh, they're spare brushes. Interesting. They give you spare brushes. Maybe they wear out pretty quick. There's the blade, and if that's the original blade, then the unit never has done much work because most of the paint's on it. It looks like it's probably been used once, although it's kind of dirtier than that. So maybe it's not the original blade. There's a new metal cutting blade. That would be the original. And that's branded GMC. This one doesn't have a brand on it. Oh, it does. It actually does. It's worn off. But yeah, so this isn't the original blade. So it must have done a bit of work. Anyway, I don't think I'll even put the blade in it. We'll just plug it into our appliance tester and see how it sounds. Okay, the cord all looks okay. The plugs are alright. There's no earth pin, so it's a double insulated appliance. Let's plug it into our tester. Power it up. Looks like it passes. Let's see what it sounds like. Yeah, I think that's actually quite good. So we'll should have no troubles getting our $20. I don't want to try and make it $30. $20 quick sale. Otherwise I end up with a shop full of secondhand electrical tools and appliances, and I don't really want that. I just want to pass them on quickly. So that's all right. Quick wipe over, put it back in its box, $20 at the shop. Okay, let's get on to this toolbox. The reason these spanners are in here is because I saw an idea once of someone made a coffee table, and what they did was laid all the spanners out on a flat area of concrete, just in random designs, and spot welded them all together, then turned it over, and I think they put a metal border around it. It might have been a circle, it might have been a rectangle, and had a sheet of glass to sit on it. So you'd weld them all together, spray paint them black, turn them over so you can't see the welds, have a frame around it, put a piece of glass on top, fashion some legs to it somehow, and you've got a vintage spanner coffee table. And I thought that was such a cool idea, and it's so easy to do. And I get so many spanners that are just plain ones that really aren't worth much at all, and I thought that would be a great idea, but I never got around to doing it. I probably haven't quite got enough spanners anyway, but I get plenty. However, you know, if I get to my deathbed and I haven't done this project, I'm actually not going to be that disappointed. It was just an idea, and I thought I'll start saving them. I might do it one day. Well, that was back before I had this place, and I got into YouTube, and I have so many electronic projects and other projects I want to do. I'm going to set up a lathe and all sorts of stuff. This project is one that I think can just be let go. I'm going to take all these spanners to the shop and put them in the $1 each box, because it'll move them on from here, and I don't need these hanging around for the sake of making something like that in the future. I don't doubt it would be a good idea, and it would probably sell very well. And I have got some large pieces of glass with nice rounded edges that would be ideal for it. But I think best leave this project for someone else, or something else that they might come up with plain spanners that really aren't worth any more than $1. Too good to put in the scrap though, so we'll take the spanners to the shop at $1 each. The toolbox I think is good enough to sell. Probably not worth a great deal. It does have a latch, it can be locked. The hinge is okay. I think we'll put $10 on the toolbox. I won't add up any value for the spanners, even though they will if I get $1 each for them. There's a lot of dollars here, but I'm not going to worry about that. I tend not to write down things that go in the dollar box, so we'll write down $10 for the toolbox. We know what we're doing with it all, so processed. Good stuff. All right, let's move this out of the road. We'll get on to this crate full of chargers. Okay, I have chargers everywhere. I have a box at the shop. I did start sorting them at one stage, and I've got boxes of 6-volt ones, of 12-volt ones, that's a 6-volt, half an amp, 500 milliamp. I'm going to sell them. Right now, I've started sorting them at the shop. I need to get back to it, but there's a lot of good chargers here that were all perfectly fine. They came in the e-waste, and quite often whatever they were on was no good, but the power packs are still fine. Sometimes I suspect they were even brand new and never used. That looks like it was a brand new one. Could have been a power pack for Netgear, possibly a modem or something like that. It's a strange voltage, is it, that one? No, it's 12 volts, 3.5 amps. That's a pretty handy little power pack. They're all switch mode power supplies, so they're quite light. Although I have got some that are... no, that's not. But the heavier ones aren't switch modes. They're the old-fashioned linear power supply with a transformer in them. And they will sell as well. So I'm going to get myself sorted out with these. That's a 12-volt 2 amp. Most of the plugs are a fairly standard size. Sometimes you find a weird size. Occasionally I've found where the positive is on the outside and the negative is on the inside. So there are variations, of course. 9-volt ones are a little harder to come by. Most of them tend to be 12. You can get 6-volt ones too. And then you can get some other weird voltages. There's a 9-volt one. So they're saleable. I'm going to test them. I'm just going to put them through my appliance tester. I'm not going to worry about tagging them. It's not worth it. I'm only going to ask $5 per charger or per power pack or whatever you want to call them. I do get people come in the shop saying, do you have a charger for such and such? So if I have a row of boxes in the shop with 12-volt power packs, 9-volt, 6-volt, and then one with perhaps unusual voltages, and I have seen ones with an AC voltage output, and some of the printer ones have a different sort of plug. But all I'm going to do to test them is plug them into my appliance tester, make sure they're safe. They don't obviously have an earth. I will make sure that the voltage, I'll put my meter on it just to make sure the voltage is around about what it says. And usually when there's no load, it's a bit higher. So this is a 12-volt DC supply. If I put my meter on that, it'll probably be 12.6 volts or maybe even as high as 13. As long as it registers like that, I know it's going to be fine. If it's less than the output voltage, then there's obviously an issue. And obviously if there's no voltage at all, there's a fault. But that way I know they're safe, I know they're actually working, and I can just have a whole range of them at the shop at $5 a pick. It's very difficult to put a value on a crate full of chargers and power packs like this because realistically I'm never going to sell them all, but I will sell one every so often, enough to make it worthwhile having them in the shop. And it's money for nothing because this all comes in the e-waste for free. I don't think they're worth selling on eBay, although I have at various times done searches on eBay for various chargers, and there's been once or twice I've needed one myself, and sometimes they get $15, $20 plus postage. Laptop chargers are a little bit different. They actually get better money. I may look into selling some of those on eBay. I can't read a voltage on that one. But laptop chargers are normally around about 19 volts output. So I'll sort them all out. I will sell them all. As far as a value out of the shed goes for all these, I can't possibly value them at $5 each. There's a nice heavy one, which is a linear power supply, so it's not a switch mode, it's got a transformer in there. Doesn't matter. In fact, they're actually better to use as far as interference goes on your radios and other things, because switch mode power supplies are notoriously noisy as far as static goes. So sometimes people are actually looking for an old style transformer type power supply. The only ones I'm going to cull are older ones that don't have that protective sleeve on the pins. And some of your very old type chargers like these ones, well, this one has, but your older type linear ones with a transformer, if they're the old pins with no sleeve, I think I'll scrap them. I'll just hit them with a hammer, take the transformer out, get pretty good value for scrap that way, whereas the switch mode ones are worth nothing for scrap. They're just so light. So that's what I'm going to do. As far as value out of this shed goes, look, let's write down $20 for this whole crate full. That means I only have to sell 4 of them to get that amount. That's extremely conservative. I'm sure over time I will sell a lot of them. I was going to say most, but well, maybe, who knows. if people talk and I become known as, you know, if you've lost a charger for something, or if it's blown up, and occasionally you see one of these with the plastic's been hot and it's bulged and people need a replacement. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do with these. I'll test them all at the shop. I won't worry about doing it here, but that's going to get us some pretty good value down the track. It's going to process some stuff from my emergency storage shed. Oh, we have some 12-volt ones that go in cars. I'll probably, that's obviously Uniden, that's for a two-way radio or something. I don't know, I might just scrap that one. I think it's pretty unlikely to sell that, but I will check eBay just to make sure. Sometimes these sort of chargers might actually sell very well, given that they're a proper brand name one, they're not an aftermarket. There's a few of those. Alright, I'll check eBay on those. But the best thing at all, in my mind at the moment, I have an empty crate to use for something else. Excellent. Okay, let's finalise this unboxing, and we don't have a lot on the notepad. If you've been keeping track of what I've been saying, you'll pretty much know this already. $5 for that first box, $20 for the reciprocating saw, $10 for the toolbox, a very, very conservative $20 for the power supplies, $55. We're going to get, I'm confident we're going to get a lot more than $20 for those. I did look up these ones. They are off Uniden handheld UHF radios, and I didn't see any of these second-hand chargers for sale, but you can buy them new, and some are selling at $60 each. And these almost look new. So, you know, there's 5 of them there. There's like $300 plus. But I'm just going to put them in the $5 box. In fact, I've got a separate box for automotive chargers with these cigarette lighter adapters. So $5 each. It's going to take a while for someone that actually has one of these Uniden items to actually come along and find them, but that's fine. They can stay in the shop, and eventually we'll sell them. I don't need to get better money than that. So yeah, there you go, $55 return and a lot of stuff sorted. And that concludes episode 66 of the Emergency Storage Shed Cleanout series. Next week, we're back down to that bottom shelf, and we will look at that early CRT TV and then get into some very interesting vintage computer stuff. Hopefully they work, or at least the TVs do, and then we can work out just how to market them. If they don't work, maybe a repair video, maybe a scrap out. We'll work that out as we go. I like working out things live on camera. There's no premeditated or researched scrap outs or unboxings here. You're discovering things with me, which is kind of fun. Thanks for coming along, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.